USL Live into the Season 25 Playoff Preview Show. I'm your host, Romulocks, and this is a weekly podcast for Free Infantry's Unified Skirmish League, where we look back at the results from previous week, discuss the upcoming matches, and try and predict winners and how that will impact the rest of the season. Joining me to discuss all that and more, I am honored to be welcomed to the broadcast booth by my co-host for this evening. First up, we have Mecca.
Howdy.
I have Yosh.
Ni hao.
I have Splittah.
How's it going, boys?
And Eric.
That's right. Save the best for last.
For more information on the Unified Skirmish League, including schedule, rosters, or how you can be a part of this league, please visit uslzone.com. All right, guys, let's jump right into talking about that final week of games, week 6. We had 4 games in the week. Starting us out, Splittah defeated Darkslayers in a nail-biter, 45-44. Your MVP in that game was our very own Eric. Mecca, take it away.
I think I alluded to on the last show that this game is going to be way closer than people expected, and I was proven right. Darkslayer showed pretty much their best possible lineup, probably is their best possible lineup. Manu shows the med and help Foster lead. You get a really good game out of Typhoon. I think if you get a better game out of Foster or Ender, Darkslayers probably takes this game. We had some med issues early on. Basically, both of our meds were lagging. So it helped them get the early lead. But the second half of the game, I think Splittah played pretty well. A little confused why Darkslayers pushed back down. I think they were up 5 or something with like 2.5, 3 minutes to go. And they pushed back down the right side instead of just like pulling the Jersey boys and just, running up through their base. So not quite sure why they did that, because I think they probably could have won with the demo or Nader if tier switched in the kind of the top left map. But Splittah showed some heart at the end of that game. Got a couple really clutch kills. I know Eric got a double law kill. Fausto Hop lost snipe Fausto. I killed Ender with a 6-2 battle. So it was all pretty good, and I want to shout out Hop because Hop's first game of the season, and I think he was probably one of our best players in the game. I know he still got 12 kills, but Hop had some clutch kills and stayed alive pretty well. So shout out Hop, and then again shout out Typhoon going 11-6, and really putting the cap on a really good season by him.
Yeah, I caught the last 3 minutes of this game, and from what I saw, Darkslayers was playing really, really well. I mean, obviously Typhoon putting in a lot of work there. Splittah, oof. You go into playoffs looking like that, oof. It's going to be a rough day at the office.
Split?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Matter of fact, Darkslayers, pretty much the whole SB was in the lead. They kind of cleaned up a little bit of their mistakes from last weekend. Only mistake that I kept seeing them still do was their cleanup kills. Not getting them, that is. Overall, Darkslayers was playing amazing. And then we see a kind of like a switch in pace for Splittah. I saw some changing of classes from Mecca. I thought Hop was great. Matter of fact, he was definitely pivotal on a couple of the battles I noticed. Kind of crazy considering this was his first game. Kind of hope he plays more. As for Darkslayers, again to them, Typhoon, I'm assuming he led that match. Maybe him and Fausto combined. Typhoon played amazing this weekend. He kind of switched from the LMG class, let Tyrael take that position. Tyrael played really good as well. I thought that double law kill that Eric got towards the end of the match actually kind of was what sealed the game. Probably what got him the MVP as well. Very close. Probably the best match of the whole season. Well played for both teams.
Yeah, it was a very well played match by both squads really. Both squads made some mistakes, but the whole game, aside from like the first 5 minutes or whatever, when I think they won the first 2 battles relatively cleanly, it was very close, right? There were battles where it was like 6-7 or like 7-5, stuff like that, where it was very close. As you mentioned, Split, they did fail to get a lot of cleanup kills, which is what kept us in it for the entirety of that game. Shout out to Hop, like Mecca said. Hop was very, very sound in that game. definitely some clutch kills. But yeah, overall, very good game. I would have liked to see, because they did keep pushing south, that seems to me like a game where Tier plays demo and you give LMG back to Typhoon. And I think they're more successful on that south with that class change. But other than that, good game.
Yeah, man, it was as I said, it was a nail biter of a game. The whole game was, I thought, exciting. The beginning was really weird. It was a rough start for Splittah, as everybody here has said. I felt a little bit of like lag in the very beginning, but then I really noticed it when I was trying to do some of my heal registry was like 3 or 4 second delays, and I was like going to say something out loud, and then Bond said it right as I was going to say it, and he was saying, yeah, I'm not sure if I can play. And then I was typing at the exact same time, I need Iron to come in for me. I don't know what's going on, but I can't play. Anyway, it was just a weird start. Anyway, we got the subs in. I think things started to change a little bit before the subs came in, but when the subs came in, it was rough for the first minute 30 or so, and then it was off to the races. I thought the comeback was really cool to see. I agree with what Mecca said that Hop played very well for just hopping into the team. Uh, Iso, again, I thought played pretty well. He's just had an amazing season. It was another good performance for him. On the other side, Fausto didn't play very well, I don't think, overall, but I do think he was doing the majority of the leading, and we've all talked about how that has an impact on that. And I don't think he played poorly, like very poorly. He just wasn't a standout, and probably, a couple more kills could have helped him. But what he didn't do, Typhoon did. Typhoon was excellent in this game. Also, I thought Brillhart was kind of a standout in terms of the way he was playing. That was a really good game for Brill. The question that I came up with was, where did Ender go? He really did not perform in this game in any kind of way like he's going to need to in playoffs. You need a big performance from that guy. He's just he's the one part of the team that must be consistent, and he wasn't consistent this week. I thought Manu was a little bit weak as well. He didn't play in the second game. I don't know if he was tired or needed to get off or what, but I thought that he and Ender were kind of some weak spots on the other side. But overall, it was a good game, well fought. What a comeback, kind of electric game, as I called it in the broadcast. Said it was just an electric finish. So congrats to Splittah on the win there. Let's move on to Birds defeated Talking Smack Sunday 55-32. Your MVP in that game was Fairfax.
Yeah, I mean, this was also an electric game. We had a great start of the week here. TSS played this so well. At one point before Trax crossed his rape lines, I think it was like 26-20 or something like that. And then Trax crossed the rape lines. They had to spec out, lost player for 2 minutes, and then Bird just kind of raped him from there. But up until that point, it was within one battle. I don't know what was up with TSS, but they just kept getting clutch kills, which you don't ever see for them. That dude was playing, better than he normally did too. But like I said on the broadcast, that dude, and he eventually just started dying poorly and in really bad spots and playing 7 versus 8. When you combine those two, it's just game over from there. So I think the second half of the game, after Trax got spec'd, I think the score was like 39-12 or something like that from when Trax crossed the line to the end of the game, compared to before when it was like 28-20 or whatever it was. So clearly that was a big impact in the game. Obviously Birds probably pulls away and wins anyways, but probably not by this margin if Trax didn't cross the baselines. And he knows he did it. There's no he knows he did it on accident. There's no controversy around that.
I want to call it the refereeing on that. Good job. Yeah.
Quick refereeing, but shout out TSS for playing well there.
Yeah, TSS played.
Sorry, you're fine.
No, it's okay, Split. I ain't been on in a while. You could just skip me. We're good.
No.
Okay, no, that's cool. TSS played really well this match. They started off the game. They played good for 20 minutes of it. And then, when Trax got spec'd, you could see the momentum shift. Maybe Trax is a bigger player than we thought. Shout out to him. Octavian played really, really well this first match. Like for the first 20 minutes anyway. And then after that, the wheels just kind of fell off. Birds, they did what they did. They played good enough to get the win. They were kind of getting a lot of people different play time in, so shout out for that as well. But overall, good job TSS for keeping this game close.
Yeah, I thought this match was excellent. I mean, for specifically Talking Smack Sunday. Two reasons. I mean, this is the first time we've seen them actually come together with a proper lineup. I mean, granted, that dude was still playing medic, but overall, he played actually really good this match. I mean, granted, it was like 0 kills, 9 deaths. But I mean, overall, from what I was seeing, he was surviving way more longer than he typically does. Um, Ox coming in, I mean, this game for him was really pivotal. I mean, he's been performing in big matches for quite some time. I mean, it wasn't a surprise for him to do well this match. I do think that Bax playing Ripper was very effective as well. I saw him practicing it throughout the week. Yes, Ripper screams are really effective in holding back teams. I think that's what probably kept Birds from pushing. You know, typically they would have been pushing from the beginning to the ending, and again, we saw how the Ripper affected them. On the other side, Birds, I mean, they definitely struggled in the first half, and then they kind of turned it around. I think within that maybe that 15 or 13-minute mark, where we saw Trax definitely get backed and stuff, and then we kind of saw them just absolutely take advantage. And then start getting momentum, and then we got to see Rio, you know, do Rio things. Like I said, with that, TG and Tactical just taking over and winning.
Yeah, starting with Birds, we saw Playoff Pandy rear his ugly head. We heard that Gift was using the hard R on Caved and a few other people. So it came at the right time as he was laying into them that the spec happened on tracks, and they just really pulled it together there. But without a doubt, as everybody else has said, this is probably the best game a back squad has played in, I don't know, since we've been back, right? Against like a top squad, this is by far the best squad or best match I've ever seen them play. Bax playing Ripper was great. Oct playing Demo was clutch, aside from the part where he lawed the physic when he could have gotten a double kill on, I think, TG and Caved, north left. But other than that, he played very well, and I'm assuming was a huge part of their play setups with all the ambushes. But good game.
Go figure it's the last week of the season that you see a performance like this. I would have loved to have seen this TSS before this week. It was a close game, as Mecca and Eric and everybody else is saying. There was a point where it was 13-12 TSS over Birds, and it was like, that was so exciting to watch. I truly didn't know what was going to happen next. You know, TSS, there was coherent play from them and clear strategy, and that was a huge difference. And when they got pushed by Birds, they actually fell and like stabilized and pushed back. It was amazing to see the kinds of things we hadn't seen from them all season long. I thought that Caved and Sabotage kind of got abused. This might have been Sabotage's worst game of the season in my book. He got, I mean, when you see the playback, watch how many times he got killed in a door. It was brutal.
I mean, he doesn't med though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it was you know, Cade and Sabo got a couple of extra sloppy deaths, and it was off to the races in the beginning. I think it was led in a large part by Bax and by Octavian, which was really cool to see. You know, I know it was as Eric is kind of saying, it was kind of the B team, and they weren't taking it that seriously for Birds. But for TSS, man, that kind of gameplay could have done real damage against another squad in this league.
You know what? Can I say something real quick, Rob?
Go ahead.
You know, I am one of the people that always bashes that dude and his medic play. But I will say this. For TSS, if you guys are going to stick around for another season, like if you guys keep that core together, you guys got to do a better job of falling to your meds and not leaving them out to dry, because most of those deaths that dude gets or Chica gets, they are chasing you guys down while you guys are falling. Yeah. Not while you guys are pushing, while you guys are falling. And you guys aren't protecting them.
Yeah, there's no effort to group heal. There's no effort to get him behind a physic so he can get a heal and not have to expose himself. And those kinds of things do matter. So that, but there was a lot of improvement in this game, and that's what I kind of wanted to focus on. That, you know, you had the normal performances from guys like Rio, Gift, and Ernie that were just outrageous, but I do think that Oct, Trax in particular, what a weekend for Trax, but what a game for Trax. And that dude, they were standout players. It was a very weird, you know, sequence of events that led them at the 15-minute mark to being in that game. And then, as Mecca said, disaster struck, and the rest of the story went from there. But TSS, really, really good job on this week, and I just want to compliment them again. Well, moving on, let's talk about, well, if I can get my computer back. Sorry about that. Let's talk about Splittah defeating Talking Smack Sunday 92-54. Your MVP in that game was Mecca.
24, sir.
92,
Did I say
24,
9? Did I say 9? I'm sorry if I said a different number out loud. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is a direct impact. I mean, I think Splittah beats TSS by, at least 30 every time, but I think it was this big because I think they got deflated because they were playing so well against Birds, and then the second half was just tragic. So we came in with a game plan of let's just push them. Eric played a really good job of AT just kind of surrounding them. I wanted to play Nader because I knew they were going to try to camp, so I wanted to have the mortars. Unfortunately, didn't really get too many mortars, but so we kind of just surrounded them and champ demo as well. Surround them and then push their base, and that's kind of what we did. I mean, I think 75-80% of the game was battled in top right of C building. So I think they were already demoralized, and we just kind of came in, put a hammer on the nail and finish it out. As far as TSS goes, not much to talk about here. Oct goes 7-16, back 6-12, and the rest was just kind of a disappointment. But I mean, I think, like I said, they played so well against Birds. I think they should go out of the season with that in their head and not this last game.
100%.
This last game was just, second half of a doubleheader against another really good squad after a heartbreak. So I wouldn't look too much into this game and just try to remember the Birds game as you're going into next season.
Yeah, this was the complete opposite of the Birds game. In the Birds game, it looked like they had a plan and they were following it. In this game, that plan just kind of got unraveled in the first 3 minutes of the game. And it led to just getting snowballed on. And then at that point, they just kind of threw caution to the wind and was like, whatever happened will happen. And you saw the score of that. The rosters were relatively the same. So you got the same personnel. I just think they were a little bit deflated. Playing doubleheaders suck.
Split?
I missed that match, so just get me on it.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mecca and Yosh. They were definitely kind of demoralized, but I think within the first 3 minutes, I think it was me and Champion both came over top left, and we both saw Chica at the same time. They had a cheeky ambush set up, but we saw Chica. I didn't see Bax behind there, so he was, whatever the vision was, he was in the correct spot, but Chica wasn't. So Chris and I both called it out. I shot a law, and I think I killed Chica and Bax from there. And then from there, it was just off to the races, sitting at their base the entire game. So again, not much to say for TSS. We just kind of corralled them the entire game.
Eric called it at the beginning. Everybody plays tonight with our two matches, and particularly who we were playing. So this is the night some people got to play that didn't get to play the first game. And Eric, Iso, and Mecca did what they normally do together, and then you add Champion, and it was just, it's just kind of outrageous. Iron also 9-2 on the game, just ridiculous for a medic. And
everybody did not get to play, sir.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sorry, Yosh.
Somebody opted to sit.
Left into the dark. Apologies for that.
I was benched unceremoniously. I was told 5 minutes before the game, "You're not playing tonight." I was like, "What?"
Boom!
And then,
right in your lap. I think the only good on the other side.
Bullshit.
The only good on the other side was Octon Backs. I thought both of those guys still tried pretty hard, but overall couldn't do it. But I agree with what you said. TSS, remember the Birds game. That's the best they can do. And it was excellent for the first 15. I wish that the spec hadn't happened. I wish he hadn't made that mistake. It would be curious to see what they could have done. But overall, a good weekend for TSS, and they should keep their heads high. So, final game of the night was Jersey Boys defeated Dark Slayers 79-40. Your MVP in that game was Leak.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I don't know if Dark Slayers were sleepy or what, but they played awful. I mean, again, talking about Ender, we all remember Ender as a good player, but maybe he's just a plumber at this point. I mean, he went 3-12 as Marine. Tier sold a lot too, 3-10. Chucky Ranger 4-9. Typhoon again, 10-11. Fossa played well, 7 and 8, but I think their meds played pretty poorly too. I mean, Phony had 11 deaths as a med. I think Man U played better than them in the first game, and just once Jersey Boys got that lead, they really pushed the advantage, and you just saw Leak and SV and Split all over the place. Kevin didn't really have impact on this match, I don't think. I mean, he had a mortar or two on tier, but only going 10 and 7 and a 40-point win was kind of disappointing. But those top three really pressed it, and I think you had some good med play too from Havoc and Victim, and as opposed to the bad med play on DS, and it snowballed quickly. This game I thought should have been closer, and then just got really out of control like 5-10 minutes into the game. It was pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean, this was just complete domination from Pister's team. So shout out to them. They played it well from start to finish. You know, they have a complete solid roster, and yeah, man, they just played amazing this game.
Yeah, it was a fun SP to play. Thought Dark Slayers. I didn't think they played as good. Maybe in this match. I mean, I think part of the problem is that they had to kind of switch it up a bit because we were playing with Kevin. Orders and eating is definitely different. That position that they had on the south, which they were really holding well against Sparta, is just not effective anymore. And yeah, I know Kevin's kills weren't showing in terms of the paper, but again, his mortars were probably the biggest reason why we won that match.
Definitely.
Like most
Definitely.
of our matches. What's called? Yeah, overall, Leo snapped. SB kind of came through in the ending as well. Pister put us in pretty much excellent positions. I mean, granted, again, it's pretty hard to push from that right side unless you come from the top. But even if you come from the top, if we catch them coming from the top, it just becomes horrible positions on that right side. But yeah, overall, I think Dark Slayers was just didn't make any adjustments. I mean, they should have made some adjustments, especially when we had a nader. I think that if they had maybe Turiel maybe switch or even yeah, I'd say Turiel as a nader would have maybe been a little bit more of a harder move, maybe to combat the situation that they're dealing with in the South Rocks. But overall, yeah, good game, guys.
I think watching the Sparta match versus this match, a very clear indication is Manu really shores up the leading and positioning for these guys when he's in the lineup, even as a medic, because they lost to Sparta by 1 kill, same side and everything. I get that Kevin's a nader for Jersey Boys and everything like that, but to get almost doubled up and pretty much blown out from the get-go is a pretty clear indication of the vocality and the leadership that Manu helps bring to the squad. Phony probably looked like he was playing like a Marine because he did just Marine against Sparta. You put Manu back there. You have Tyrael either nader or demo to counter Kevin. I don't think he necessarily has to nade. He can demo and just do that just fine. Typhoon had a great game. But yeah, if Manu was in over Chuck, who played Ranger, who we've been saying that class is kind of dead in the water all season, I think it's a little bit of a better game. I don't think it's as close as Sparta's game, but I think it's not quite the double up, you know what I mean? But still, good game.
I don't disagree with you, Eric. I think Manu definitely probably his absence probably did have an effect on the team cohesion and positioning and a lot of other things. But honestly, I didn't think DS played that bad compared to their first game. I think it was more that Jersey Boys just absolutely laid the hurt on them. I think they came in and played their game, and and I agree with what Split said. They had no answer for Kevin, and over again, I watched him get a pivotal kill, and then everybody just swarmed. And it was kind of insane to watch. I think this was probably the Mountain's best game of the season. Maybe. I think it's definitely contention. He's had some good ones this season, but this was a really good game for him. That double law he got from the north, where he put it just behind the rock and it hit the medic and the Marine and both gone in an instant. It was a battle turner, and they absolutely swept from that point on. League played a great game. There were just a bunch of guys that were out for blood on Jersey Boys lineup, and Kevin he disrupted or split the entire battle in half. and I think he created a lot of opportunities for Jersey Boys to capitalize. On the other side, I think Typhoon came in ready to play, and he was just like, where'd everybody else go? He was 10 and 11 on this game, and everybody else. I just did not see the vim and vigor that we expected in the first game, and maybe that is the absence of Manu. I can't explain it, but from the very get go, they seemed on their back heels, and they just couldn't get it together. There was no stabilizing from beginning to end. And a 79-40, that really does tell the tale. It was a big game for Jersey Boys, and a really good sign, I think, for Jersey Boys going into these playoffs and what kind of play they're going to be looking for at the end. We did interview Kevin, and he kind of left it open-ended as to what might happen in the playoffs, particularly as we didn't see Sav in this game, who is on their roster. But we'll see what the playoffs hold for him. So let's move on in that sense. So, of course, as we were talking about, this episode is dedicated to the Season 25 playoff matches and the squads that will be competing in postseason play. But as we've done in seasons past, I want to take a moment to talk about Talking Smack Sunday, who failed to meet the cutoff for playoffs and are now eliminated this season. I just want to go around the table quickly for each of us to comment on if there was any growth this season, in addition to any words of encouragement we can offer to both the team or select individuals on the squad. Anybody have any messages for Talking Smack Sunday? Just to point out, they went 0-8 on the season, finishing with 238 kills, 729 deaths. And I just want to add that they did not forfeit a single game, and I don't recall them using NTs in a single match this season.
I mean, is this freeform?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think we all kind of said it, like, this last week against Birds proved that they had some growth, proved that they can get things together and work as a cohesive unit, right? Again, by far the best game they've ever played, and hopefully they continue to grow from that. And like I said, work on working with your medics, and they might perform a little bit better. Who knows?
I just want to say thank you guys for showing up every week. You guys come in, week out, try your best, and that's kind of what it's all about. Have a little bit of fun here or there, and yeah, just continue to play the game. So thank you guys for showing up.
No fun, dude. Rations get taken otherwise.
Oh my god, I'm
I
already
think something that Max should kind of focus on next season is just stopping it seems to be like just drama every week. And usually I don't think like a lot of people think that, it doesn't cause any problems, but really it does. I mean, a lot of times that's the issue. Some people are not performing. Some people are not even joining. Like Oct, for instance, he came in late during the season because of drama between him and Bax. I think that if they have that core that they had towards the Birds match, and kind of build on that, they have a good future. But if they keep that drama thing that Bax likes to do going, they'll never have any future.
Well, it wasn't between Oct and Bax. It was between Oct and Smackrock. That was the drama.
Yeah, but it all leads back to Bax, right?
No,
Like,
this had almost had nothing to do with him. Like, to be honest, like at least from the story that I've been told. Could be wrong.
Well, overall, what in terms of positives, I would say just want to comment that Chica, I thought, had a fantastic season. I saw her over and over again trying to get heals, staying alive, solo medding when TD went down, just doing, honestly, God's work over there. And she was one of the last to die in a lot of battles.
Each time to Ernie, by the way, domestic abuse.
I know, right? Go smack him. Anyway, TD, I think he got better over the season. Smackrock, thank you for putting the squad together, as everybody has said. Every week, you guys came in with a great attitude and people there. Jim, really good streams. I thought he was improving. Uni, consistently, we've said, I think Uni is improving overall, definitely more consistent. Although I think there were some moments in the season that were a setback. I hope for good things for Uni in future seasons. And like Mecca has said many times before, I think Uni on a good mid-tier squad or above, it'd be really fun to see what he could do and how he could blossom. And Oct and Bax, I think we saw that last week. The two of them together have a chemistry. They have something together, particularly when they're playing special classes together. And I would really like to see that grow and see what happens when you guys do that week after week and focus on improving together. That'd be really cool. So, anybody else on that? Nope. Okay. Let's move on to talking about playoff qualifying squads for season 25. First up, we have Birds. Finished 7-1 on the season with 473 kills and 300 deaths. Birds finished the season in dramatic form, and the new rules do come into play here. Birds lost to Jersey Boys by 17 kills in week 1 for a final score of 46-29. But they rallied back in week 4 to defeat Jersey Boys 43-25, a final tally of 18 kills. That gives them the number 1 seed by 1 kill, a razor-thin margin, which is really cool to see, and I think that was kind of what we were hoping for with the rule changes. I don't know that anybody anticipated it would be a 1-kill margin, but so Birds becomes our number 1 seed. Our number 2 seed is Jersey Boys, going 7-1 on the season with 536 kills and 311 deaths. Number 3 seed will be Splittah, going 4-4 on the season with 511 kills and 390 deaths. And then our 4 seed will be Darkslayers, going 2-6 on the season with 443 kills and 471 deaths. To talk real quick about how playoffs are going to be played, map selection for semifinals, we're going to be going to the Else Dragon compound, aka EC. For finals, we're going to be switching that up and going to Kaiser Pass. A schedule of the playoffs, the semifinals, the first round is going to kick off 9:15 p.m. Eastern. The second round will start at 10 p.m. Eastern. 3v3s are going to be played on Else Dragon compound in the mid. That will begin immediately following the conclusion of round 2, and the championship match will follow after that. So let's talk about the playoff schedule a little bit. First up in round 1, we have the semifinals on Else Dragon compound, as I said. The first game, again, will be number 1 seed Birds versus the number 4 seed Darkslayers, kicking off at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Mecca, talk to me about what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think there's a few key points for Darkslayers if they want to be competitive in this game. I think you need Man U to show up, and I think you need a good game out of Tier. I think Tier needs to play Ripper, Demo, or Nader and let Typhoon LMG. I think Typhoon has been doing well on Marine, but he's just that much more dangerous on LMG, especially on EC, where you can kind of just come around the corner and pick up a quick kill with a clip on LMG. And then, Nader and Demo are always so good on EC2. You can hold the rocks basically by yourself. So if they want any chance in this game at all, they need Man U, who's literally won championships leading on this map. And then they need Tier to kind of show out as Nader or Demo, whatever he's doing. It wouldn't hurt either for Ender to do anything in this game. His last 2 games looked really bad, so if he can do anything, they have a chance. I'm still going to take Birds. Birds, again, is also very experienced on this map. Everybody on their team has played, 50 USL seasons, so not really worried about that. On EC, I don't think you see any weird classes. You might see Ernie, AT, or Demo. I'm assuming Demo, since they don't really play AT anymore, even though AT is super good on this map. I expect Birds to win this, though. Give me Birds by 17.
So I think this is going to be a little bit bigger than what people are going to realize. If Manu does not show out, if Typhoon, has a dip, this is going to get ugly really fast. Like Becca was saying, those guys have to show up. They have to play well. And Tyrael needs to come out and, come out the gate swinging on this match. If they do all those things correctly, Man U has led on this map. He's won championships, like Mecca has said, but a lot of the guys are really inexperienced on this one. So I'm going to give the edge to Birds. I'm going to say they win this by 30 kills.
Split?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Birds. I think that Birds is I guess it all depends on who shows for them. Not saying that they're going to lose regardless, but if they show the lineup that they had last weekend, I mean, granted, I know that they showed that lineup because it's a TSS, definitely be close, but I expect them to kind of be bringing everybody to this match. Yeah, I think that they'll win at least by being the MVP.
I mean, kind of like Mecca and Yosh have said, the stars kind of really need to align for Dark Slayers here. If Manu doesn't show, what I would like to see is X5 come in over Chuck and have X5 and Abath med, or X5 or Abath and Phony med, and X5 is Marine. I don't think Chuck should play in this game. I think I kind of disagree with Yosh saying that most of these guys are inexperienced on EC. You have Fosso, you have Brill, you have Tyrael, you have Ender, who, yes, is coming back, but he's played many seasons on EC when USL was still a thing in SOE. Most of their people have played on EC. So experience, not the biggest factor, but again, like you guys have said, Manu needs to show, and Typhoon needs to show out, Tyrael needs to show out. Fausto has to have a big game if these guys want to keep it close. Fausto does have a habit of upsetting the number one seeds on EC. I was part of Glitter when we did it to Kippa Squad. So there is a possibility. Do I see it happening? No. I think Birds wins by 20. Probably like 52-30.
I get to the exact same conclusion. I mean, I really want to see Dark Slayers have a hell of a game and it all to come together at the same time. But the odds of that happening are just so low. But if you did, you need Fausto and Manu to step up and provide that co-leadership. Both of them have the capability, and if they're both talking, you got two very capable people there who can put this team in the right position, whether or not they're super experienced, which I think I agree with Eric. I think they are. And, you know, I think that Phony, my opinion, Phony needs to go Marine because Manu needs to be the medic. I know Abath, there's been some question marks there, but I think it's Abath and Manu, and I think Phony Marines for you. I do think King needs to go to the Nader. It's what their best performances, I think he's been Nader in. I think that you just have him compete as best you can and play positions, don't go straight at Birds. I think Abath needs to play the game of his life at medic. He needs to make sure he stays alive and doesn't die first. I think you're going to get the game from Brill that I think Brill will show up and play. I think that's one thing you can count on for him. He is consistent. So I'm not as concerned about Brill. Ender, that's the question mark. You need 8+ kills from him. And I don't know that you get it, particularly after last weekend. He's not the form you'd want to see in the playoffs, but you ideally need a breakout performance from him. And then Chuck, that is my question mark as well. Would you want him to switch to a different class now in playoffs? Typically, I think conventional wisdom would say go with what you know, but in this case, I think LMG or Marine is absolutely something he should consider. I think he's one of the best shooters on that team, and I really do wonder what they'd be capable of if he were pushing on a main or a flank with an AR. So I would consider doing it, but if not, then I go with what Eric said. Put in X5 if he doesn't want to do that, because I think Ranger right now in a game against Birds is an outright liability. You are not going to have the time to react that any kind of a Ranger class needs. You might get one bullet off, maybe two, before it's done and over with and your whole squad is mopped up. So, yeah, I would consider switching that class, going with something else. And I do think Phony needs to Marine. He's to Marine his heart out in this game. But Rio and Tactical are going to do what they can do. If you can limit them, that's what they need to do, Dark Slayers, to win this. And focus out the medics. But I think Birds win this. I think Birds take it probably by 22. I'd say 66-44 is my prediction on this one. Any final things on that first round, or are we good to go to the second?
I think Chuck can play Marine, by the way. He's played Marine in some 3v3s. Mm-hmm. And I would put Chuck Marine in over X5 Marine any day.
I would think that too. Yeah.
Ranger's just bad on this map too. It's ineffective, but it's also bad on this map. So I would like to see him play LMG or Marine or something.
Listen, man, I don't know. I'd still put X5 in. I watched him run Legacy down 1v5. All right?
Here's that. I think if you put Chuck on demo, he would be surprisingly effective.
He probably would be. Yeah.
He knows how to aim RPGs. He plays heavy,
Yeah, he could be really good at that. We could see a champion in the making there. Be interesting. I don't know that I'd start him out on. You wouldn't play him in demo on the playoffs, would you?
No.
Yeah.
I'd have him play LMG.
Yeah, I think with the amount of bullets he's hitting, I think LMG makes the most sense. And then you free up everybody else to do, utility roles. Typhoon can play Marine just as well as LMG. So, it's not going to be too hard for him to switch off. So, anyway, I think we all kind of agreed that birds are pretty much the obvious one there. Maybe the more contentious game here is the second round. Number 2 Jersey Boys taking on number 3 Splittah at 10 p.m. Eastern. Mecca, what do you think?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. EC is kind of the great balancer, right, as far as map goes. Sides, they matter a little bit. Like, I'm assuming JB is probably going to take left side, but I don't know. This map can kind of balance a lot of things out. I think that Splittah might have a few surprises up their sleeves for Jersey Boys, so we'll see how they handle that. As far as who's going to win the game, I got to give our team confidence. I think that Splittah's going to pull the upset here. I think EC you might see some Eric AT on it. I think AT on this map is too good, and I don't think that Jersey Boys will really run an AT. If they do, they're taken away from like Mountain being a solo Marine. If you stick them on AT, I just don't think that's a good formula. If Jersey Boys wins, which I'm assuming they're obviously favored, it is going to be Kevin. This is kind of Nate or Heaven map. If they just try to hold South all game, if they win that first battle and can hold South all game, the Nader's going to be, just obviously amazing and going to be hard to break. If they lose the first battle, I think Splittah's chances go way up, because then we can just pull them into the open and kind of make Kevin useless. Just play away from the rocks, away from mid, and so I think the most important thing here for Jersey Boys is to win that first battle. If they do win that first battle, I think they probably have a 75-80% chance to win the game.
This is a very, very. I don't think this is going to be a close match. I think that Kevin and the boys run us over. 100-0, to be honest. 100-0. We don't get a kill. Times are bad. I yell at Eric. He yells at me. And it is what it is.
It's a bold prediction, but
100-0. I like that. I think this could be close. Depending on how Sparta plays it, kind of similar to Mecca. Yeah, definitely that first battle will have a big part to play. Because if they lose it, it's gonna be really rough. Getting past the Nader, getting past Hoax, getting past positions, it's not an easy push. If they do win the first battle, I still think we win it. But I definitely think it gets a lot closer. But yeah, I definitely give it to us by at least 15 or more kills.
Statistically, yeah, you guys are favored because you've won both matches in the regular season. But as Mecca said, EC is the kind of the great equalizer. It is, everybody knows this map. It is relatively very equal on both sides. Doesn't matter which side you get, really. To say you're gonna win by 16 in the playoffs is outrageous against us. Not happening. If you guys do win, it's gonna be by 2, but we're gonna win by 10. Enough said. You won't be able to handle my AT.
I think this is one of the bold statements from Eric. I like it. I think this is one of the best round semifinal games I've seen in quite a while in terms of anticipation. I think that Jersey Boys are the heavy favorites. I think we have to acknowledge that. That's based on the play. I think they're definitely the heavy favorites right now. In terms of the way they're playing. I think that Kevin is going to be a huge factor in that. His grenades have absolutely kept Splittah at bay to this point. We'll see if he repeats that again. Leak, Splittah, and Pister, and the Mountain. These shots are on point. They're absolutely awesome. And you guys like Danny that are just like they're there every week. But he's not playing poorly. He's just surrounded by people that are massacring on all sides. It's hard for him to keep up. I think Victim has been the unsung hero in a lot of ways for the Jersey Boys lineup. He's been a very consistent medic all season. You haven't really seen any problems from him, and he's definitely not the first one to die most of the time. Havoc is kind of more of a question mark. I think one has been playing really well of late, but his aggressiveness, you never know when he's going to, focus on shooting rather than healing, and it cost him. But at the same time, if he's on point, this lineup is dangerous right now. Jersey Boys is clicking, and they're just hitting on all gears. And so I think they do carry that into this game, looking just like they did against Dark Slayers in that last week. But on Sparta's side, if the team shows up and everybody's there, this is a deadly lineup. If Champion, he's the biggest question mark. If Champion is there, the game is just different. It is just amazing to watch what he does with that demo. Then you got Mecca, Eric, and Iso and Shasta. Afterwards, all have played together, all know how to play off of each other. And then you got Iron, and I think Bonds is clearly the go-to choice right now. The medics have been a question mark all season for Sparta, but I think that Bonds and Iron bring it home in the playoffs, and I think that's going to be a tough pair to beat. The question mark that I have is who is the last Marine. Watching the season from the inside and just thinking about it objectively, I think it's between Hop and Chompy, and I think that Hop has looked really good. I agree with Mecca. He looked fantastic in his first weekend. Chompy, on the other hand, I know what the man is capable of, and I know Gift had question marks about him all season. Chompy can murder when he is on, but he has not. He's been a little gun shy this season, no question about it. And I don't know which one you go there with that sixth position, but I think that either one, you got a really solid lineup, and it's just going to come down to positioning and plays, and that falls on Eric and Mecca, and it falls on Pister. And we'll see if Sav makes the appearance. Right now, I'm calling it for Jersey Boys by 5. I'm going to go 55-50 Jersey Boys favor.
Real quick, Rob.
Yeah.
I know you said you didn't have any mailbag questions.
Yeah.
I got one.
Okay.
So whenever we want to do that, we can dive into that.
Sure. Let's go on and talk about the championship real quick. The map will be Kaiser Pass. Again, as we said, it'll take place immediately following the end of the semifinal rounds. We are going to stick on EC mid for a second, though, to play the 3v3s. That'll begin at approximately 11 p.m. Eastern. The championship, again, will follow immediately after that. Mecca, talk to us a little bit about what we're doing for awards this season.
Yeah, we're not doing anything different as far as actually making new awards or anything, but we do have a new voter. We got Fosto in instead of Yosh, since Yosh was inactive for the first couple weeks. So that
Also
playoff show
bum.
will come.
We got a bum out of there. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yosh is a bum.
True. I was biased as fuck.
He was. There was word that he was taking bribes to keep backs out of the awards.
I could be bought. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. Steve Stubbersale was in.
I think that the awards are going to be interesting this year. I think you'll have a few first-time winners, and I think it won't. Except for maybe one award. I think every other award will be somebody new or somebody who's never won the award before.
Yeah.
All it took was Sav to leave the league, and look at all the parity that we have. Maybe we should just ban this guy permanently, so we can keep the league nice and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what the league looks like without stuff.
Yeah, pre-SOE or in SOE days, this is what it looked like, and then we lost all that. Man, we didn't even know what we had. Let's see here, Eric. Let's go to your mailbag question, your impromptu mailbag question.
Yeah. So the question is: do you, as a commentator, respect the other's opinions, or do you think a fellow commentator's opinion is usually wrong, but you're trying to be nice? But you're trying to be a nice guy. Let me just say, yes, we call Rom Bayless all the time because he has absolute dog shit takes, but we're still here for him.
I like how you ask the question and go hard out of the gate. Jesus.
I disagree with Rom a lot. Sometimes Rom has some good thoughts. I can't say he always is wrong, but he is willing to record, and he has a good voice for radio and a good face for radio as well. So you don't want to upset him too much.
I appreciate it.
You've seen what Rom looks like?
I look like the most Jewish man you ever saw in your life. That's what I'll say.
Handsomeness. I see that.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with a lot of people a lot, but I will say this. Mecca and I have agreed on a lot of the predictions for the season. I've been right 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ron's right more than he's wrong, so it's kind of crazy.
And yeah, I
right,
do
3 seasons in a row about what?
I called the champs. I actually called 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the playoffs 3 seasons in a row from the beginning of the season.
That's fine. Those predictions are fine. It's your takes on like individual
players.
Okay,
so we just disagree on how good.
Shit. You literally just slobbed on Kevin like Collinsworth does to Mahomes.
I think that you significantly underrate how good Kevin is. Significantly.
Kevin is like, again.
Kevin is good, but Kevin went
usually right.
Kevin went 10-7 that game. League went 18-6, and you would have thought Kevin got 40 kills in that game, and League went 2-10.
No. I mean, Leak leached him. Is anybody going to deny that he got a lot of leech kills in that game? I think he played very well, but he's supposed to leech them. That's his job.
I think Leak played way better than Kevin in that game.
I would say he played better, but I don't know that way better.
I wouldn't say exactly. I wouldn't say way better. If anything, I would say it's probably even PL, because the thing about Kevin is that he's breaking open the battle. Like pretty much, let's say 4 out of 6 battles he's breaking open. So like, you can't really equate that if you look at the scoreboard.
I don't think that's the numbers at all for how many he got. A few mortar kills, but I don't know. I think he's played
even
better
if he
games.
doesn't break open the battle, he does enough damage for us to break open the battle. It's the best way to put it. He's definitely the most impactful player in our squad right now.
But as you can see,
Kevin is impactful. I'm speaking specifically about the last game, by the way. I think overall, as the season goes, Kevin's probably the second best player in your team. I think SV's had a better season, looking deeply into the stats, but I think Eric's point was that Rom gets sensational.
Yeah, it's not just specifically Kevin, but because of, what we've talked about thus far on the show, that was the easiest example I could pull.
No, I get you. I would say my predictions end up right, and whether we disagree about how good Pliskin is compared to somebody else, or if it's Cronus, or if it's somebody else, I have talked about Pliskin with Mecca. I don't know how long. I think that man was a monster, and everybody else is like, oh, it's just Pliskin. Anyway, moving on. We do disagree with each other.
I got another one. We gotta keep the trend going as it has been every week. If Jersey Boys is losing, who specs for Sov? Who does it?
I think it'd be right now Samira, hands down. I would sit Danny in a second. Right now. No, Danny can be a monster, but right now.
Danny's playing amazing. Everybody's playing great, so there is nobody hurting.
I think, and this is specifically just to troll this person, I think that if Jersey Boys is losing and Pister really asks Sov to unspec, he will do it if he specs Splittah to troll Split. 100%.
What do you think the probability of that is actually happening?
Nobody's going to do that to him. That would be so cold.
I don't think anybody's
That'd be so cold.
What do you think the probability is?
I think he would do that.
That'd be an Eric move for coldness, for sure. Nobody be that cold.
Pester wants to win. This is 50-50.
I say that it's 0.000.
Okay.
He says that with eyes full of hope.
So far? Was I wrong so far?
How many championships have you won a free infantry split?
All right, guys.
When you remove Saw from it, like how many championships did anybody?
I've got plenty. I beat him. So
Yosh's hands are dripping with rings.
Yeah, my hands are up.
All right, guys.
Without him,
I'm going to wrap us up here. Announcements real quick. Spots are open still for commenting on playoffs. If you can help me out, I would desperately appreciate you getting in touch with me or signing up on site if you're already listed as a commentator. If you haven't called a game yet, man, this is the time. Trax a Million jumped in on the last game, and it was fantastic. I thought he did a great job. I'll be posting it up pretty soon, so you'll be able to see it. Any final comments about playoffs from any of the well, wait a second. Did we finish talking about the championship? Does everybody agree or we disagree? Where are we on that?
Yeah, I think two of us chose what? Birds and Jersey Boys. Two of us chose Birds and Sparta.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe I should clarify who's going to win this thing. That'd probably be a good way to finish.
Let me preface this by Kaiser's Pass hasn't been used in a very long time
for a reason.
So I think, for a very good reason. So this map is going to be, I think the match will be very fun to watch if it's Birds and Splittah. If it's any other iteration, it's going to be boring as all hell.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought KR was the championship match. Is it Kaiser's Pass?
No.
Oh, it's Kaiser's Pass, dude.
What the fuck? Okay,
Fucking guy.
I'll take that.
Yep. So let's go around the horn. Who's winning this thing? Mecca?
Birds.
Birds?
I'm gonna give it to TG and the boys.
I'm gonna give it to Crazy Boys.
Kaga's been waiting for this moment, so it's going to be Birds. He
Yeah.
rejoined for a reason.
Yeah. The band is back together and they're on a mission from God. I got to go with the Birds. Gift is going to bring it home this season, that's for sure. I think it sounds 3-1, 4-1. Yosh is with us. Yeah, I think Birds are taking it home this season. Okay, any final comments from anybody? No? Okay, well, that will do it for the Season 25 Playoff Preview Show. You can play Infantry for free. Download the game right now on Steam. Just type Free Infantry in the search bar or visit freeinfantry.com. If you're interested in league play, please visit uslzone.com. You can sign up on site to view roster schedules and forums there. Also, be sure to check out our available videos on the Infantry Online YouTube page. Built and maintained by military police, feel free to relive the nostalgia anytime you want by going back to watch play from past seasons. I'd like to thank my co-hosts for today on the show. It was Mecca, Yosh, Eric, and Splittah. This has been Romulocks. You've been listening to USL Season 25 Playoff Preview Show. See you all in the drop.